Hi everyone and welcome back to the tutorial. In the last tutorial I showed you how to make a more complex def loop, so for your animal, and I even showed you some functions, so for example how many items you will obtain, for example how many chicken you would obtain, and also how to make the pork chop be cooked if the animal is burning when it dies. Okay. Today I will show you some other functions and conditions. If you missed the last episode, I strongly recommend that you go in the description and you will find a link where you can access, where you have access to all the tutorials. So let's jump into this. So last time we watched for the meat, okay, which is this big block here. Now we will check the minerals. So here you see you have a little chance to obtain a diamond and a bigger chance to obtain your emerald. But now let's say that, for example, you want to obtain the diamond only if you killed the animal yourself, okay? Or if you hurt the animal before it dies. So how to do this? Well, you need a condition. Your condition is, so conditions, open your squares, oops, I'm sorry, open your squares, and we will put our condition, which is condition. Now the name is killed by player. So you see, killed by player, which means that if the animal is killed by the player, it has a chance to drop the diamond. If it's not killed by the player, or if you didn't hit it before it dies, you will not obtain this diamond, okay? Which means that it would be the emerald for sure. Now, let's say that the emerald has a similar condition. So, put your conditions. Oh, just wait a second. I will put it here. So the diamond we said if killed by player. Let's say we want the same thing here, or tamed animal, okay? Which means that if a tamed animal kills the animal, well, you will have the chance to obtain the emerald, okay? The emerald. So the condition, as I was saying, conditions. The condition is very similar. Look at this. Killed by player or pet. Always with underscores. Okay? So you see, you can obtain it only if it was killed by a player or a pet. Now, let's say you want it to be something else, okay? Just to give you an example, you may not know, but when a creeper is killed by a skeleton, it has a possibility to drop a disc, a music disc. So we want to have something similar, for example, okay? So what we have to do is, wait, I will create another possibility, okay? And it will be the possibility to gain an iron ingot, for example. And the chance will be 3. But it's if killed by skeleton. And here I will just copy paste it just to be faster. So you have your item. The item this time is iron ingot. The weight is 3. And the condition this time is killed by entity. And you need to specify the entity. Now, wait, I think it's entity. Then you say the name. And the name has to start by Minecraft. Minecraft. Double dot and it's skeleton. Now, if you excuse me, I will just verify something because I'm not 100% sure if it's the way to write it. So please excuse me, it won't be long, okay? Okay, so I'm sorry, it was entity type, okay? So entity type, and you specify the entity, okay? If you don't know the name, the exact name of the entity, all you have to do is to go in your default files, find the entity in entities files, okay? Well, I will show you how to do this. So for example, if you have your default files, you see it looks like this. You go in entities and you search for the good one, okay? So for example, skeleton, and you see the identifier that is here is the one that you have to copy paste in your file, okay? So right here. So with this condition, it means that in order to drop the iron ingot, it has to be killed by the skeleton, okay? If it's not, this has no chance to happen. And you see, you could also put a function, okay? So let's say we want to have 2 to 6 iron ingots, okay? So here you could add it here, or you could also add it after, okay? So I will show you. What I usually do, okay, is I put my functions before my conditions, but you can put it in the order that you want, okay? So basically, I will put it before. So my functions, double dot, open your squares, and my function is set count. So this is just a little reminder if you forgot what it was. So set count, and you put your count. I will put a minimum of 2 and a max of 6. So you see, now it has a possibility to drop 2 to 6 iron ingot, and it will only happen if it's killed by a skeleton, okay? So this is for this block. Now I will show you the other functions that I know and that you could reproduce by yourself. So we will do this with these one, okay? So if you remember, we had a group of possibilities that were treasure, okay? So totem and heart of the sea. But today, we will put a possibility to obtain even more totems, okay? So we obtain, for example, one totem, but drop 2 more if you have looting enchant. So if you don't know what it is, well, the looting enchant is an enchantment that you can put on your sword, for example, and it gives you more items when you kill the mobs, okay? In fact, they have more chances to drop more of this item. So for example, we will do this with the totem, okay? Right now, it has a chance to drop only one of them. But now, we will put a function. Wait, I will just do this so you can follow more easily. So, your totem, you need to put it a function. And your function is called, look at this, function looting enchant. So that's the name of the function, looting enchant, which means that when you will have the looting enchant on your sword, for example, you will have the possibility to get more items. But how much more? Well, look at this. You need to specify the count. If, for example, you want 2 more, you put 2. Okay? And it works the same way as the function setCount, which means that, for example, if you wanted more, like a minimum and a maximum value, you would put it this way. Wait, I'm gonna show you with this one, okay? So for example, we want the Heart of the Sea, but drop 1, 2, 3 more if looting enchant, okay? So how do we do this? Well, we need to put our functions, double dot, like this, and the function is called looting enchant, and you have to put your count, but this time, instead of just putting the number, we will put some braces, and we will have our min. We said 1, and a maximum of 3. Just like this. So you see, now you have a possibility to obtain 1 to 3 more if you have the looting enchant, okay? Now, I will also show you another function that might be useful sometimes, because you may not know, but for example, if you watch the item identifier, you'll see that, for example, the dice, well, they all are called die, you see? So how can you decide, for example, if you want the ink sac or if you prefer the lapis lazuli? How to determine this? Well, you have to specify it, okay? And what we will do, we will put a possibility right here to obtain ink sac. Okay, and the possibility will be 6%, okay? So, right here, we will put, wait, I will write it by myself, okay, just to show you again. So, we have our type. The type is an item. The name is Minecraft die. And here we need to put our weight, which is 6. And our function. So look at this, functions, double dot, like this, and it's a function that is very similar to setCount, okay? But it's called setData, like this, okay? And then you specify the data, so data, and you need to see which one is here. So you see, there is a number, okay? When it's 0, it means that usually you don't have to specify the data, okay? But in this case, you would not have to specify it, but for example, if you want the cocoa beans, you have to put 3. If you want the lapis lazuli, you need to put 4, okay? These are very important, If you don't put it, well, you will probably obtain ink sac. Okay, so in fact, I will put cocoa bean instead. Okay, so cocoa beans. And you see, the cocoa beans were 3, which means that I have to put 3 as an answer. Now, you can understand that, for example, you could obtain any of the 16 possible dies, or 20 in fact, if you put your data as a min and a maximum, okay? So for example, if you put min 0 and max, let's say 12, okay? Well, this would mean that you have a possibility to obtain the ink sac, the red dye, or anything that goes up to the dye 12, which is the light blue dye. Okay, so you would have the possibility to obtain any of these dyes, but not the magenta because it's over 12, okay, and all the following ones. But here, we said we wanted the 3 because we wanted cocoa beans, okay? So yeah, that's it for today. In the next video, we will finish this, okay? We will wrap it up with, I think, one last function, and then I will do a kind of summary, and you'll be good to make your own DevFlute. So I hope it was useful, and I see you in the next video.